We can't keep her safe forever. No matter how hard you try, no matter how many people you kill, she's gonna grow up, Joel.
Why are you giving this to me now? Because, Grace, I lost a child too. I haven't lost a child, Charity.
Welcome to the Fireflies. Sorry about that. They didn't know who you were.
And Ellie?
She's all right. They brought her back.
We don't raise another $80,000 in the next 3 weeks, it's gone.
Let me guess. More retail feed for Charming Heights.
Yeah, most likely.
And there's Kenny. What's his deal? He banging that intern with the legs?
Yeah, they're involved.
For now. I mean, a female doctor with a male nurse. You ever seen that work?
I am is dying. I want it. Sure as a grave, you must accept what is.
Stumbling upon my mother's whole family in Korea that I didn't know about, and that she was ashamed to have a child of color.
Have you ever wondered what it takes to be the voice of a video game icon, a Broadway powerhouse, and the leading lady of a groundbreaking television series, all at the same time? Merle Dandridge has done exactly that, and her journey from a military base in Nebraska to the stages of Broadway and the screens of Hollywood is nothing short of extraordinary.
That's awful.
No, what's awful is that I never told. No one knows but you.
Born on May 31st, 1975, in Okinawa, Japan, to a Korean mother and African-American father, Merle's multicultural background would become both her greatest challenge and her most powerful asset. But before we dive into her meteoric rise, there are 2 secrets about Merle's life that will absolutely shock you. One involves a family revelation that changed everything, and the other is a career-defining moment that almost never happened.
Opening up. Yeah. I have all of this huge family in Korea that I didn't know about.
Stick around, because what you're about to discover will leave you speechless. Growing up on military bases across the United States, Merle's childhood was anything but typical. Her father's job in the Air Force meant constant relocation, eventually settling at Offutt Air Force Base in Bellevue, Nebraska. In a predominantly white, homogeneous state, young Merle stood out, not just because of her mixed heritage, but because of an undeniable talent that couldn't be contained.
When I was growing up in very homogeneous white Nebraska, to see a black woman on television saying, there's more, there's another way, and exploring this is not taboo.
Nebraska wasn't exactly the entertainment capital of the world, but it was there that Merle discovered theater. At Papillion La Vista High School, she joined the play production class and theater department, finding a space where she could finally be herself. Theater became her sanctuary, a place where being different wasn't just accepted, it was celebrated. But here's where things get interesting. After high school, Merle didn't head straight to New York or Los Angeles, like most aspiring actors. Instead, she enrolled at Roosevelt University's Theater Conservatory in Chicago, now known as the Chicago College of Performing Arts. It was a decision that would shape her entire career, teaching her the blue-collar work ethic and rigorous discipline that would later become her trademark. Chicago's theater scene in the 1990s was raw, experimental, and unforgiving. Merle threw herself into it completely, co-founding a theater company that would take over storefronts and transform them into immersive experiences. One production recreated Nazi Germany in an abandoned building, with Merle and her collaborators staying up all night making curtains and building sets. This wasn't glamorous theater. This was guerrilla artistry, and Merle loved every exhausting minute of it.
Like Nick Offerman, and I started a theater company where we would do these we would take over a storefront and we would turn it into Nazi Germany.
But the stage was just the beginning. In 2004, Merle landed a role that would change her life forever, though she didn't know it at the time. She was cast as the voice of Alex Vance in Valve's groundbreaking video game, Half-Life 2. For most actors, voice work in video games was just a paycheck. For Merle, it became a legacy. Gamers around the world fell in love with Alex, and Merle's performance earned critical acclaim. She would reprise the role in Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and Episode 2, cementing her status as a gaming icon. But the real game changer came in 2013, when she voiced Marlene in Naughty Dog's The Last of Us. The role of Marlene wasn't just another voice gig, it was a masterclass in emotional depth, and moral complexity. Merle brought such humanity to the character that when The Last of Us was adapted for HBO in 2023, there was only one person who could play Marlene in live action, Merle herself. She reprised the role, bringing the same intensity and gravitas to the screen that she'd brought to the recording booth a decade earlier. But wait, here's the first shocking secret. During all of this success, Merle was hiding a deep personal struggle that almost derailed everything.
My mother's whole family in Korea that I didn't know about, that she was ashamed to have a child of color, you know, because they've been historically so homogenous since the war. And to stumble across that and still, you know, in that moment, have her write a new narrative in that moment that didn't exist was very painful because I had been cut off.
The revelation that her mother had an entire family in Korea she'd never mentioned, and that she'd been ashamed of having a child of color, shattered Merle. The pain of feeling divorced from part of her identity, of being cut off from her Korean heritage, could have destroyed her. Instead, it became fuel for her art. Merle made the conscious decision to embrace every part of herself. She traveled to Korea, met her family, and at her big age, as she puts it, earned her black belt in Taekwondo, a rite of passage for Korean children that she'd missed. She learned the language, spent time in Memphis connecting with her African-American roots, and refused to let anyone tell her she didn't belong. This newfound wholeness radiated through everything she did. In 2006, Merle made her Broadway debut in Disney's Tarzan, playing Kala. It was the first of many Broadway roles that would showcase her incredible vocal range and dramatic prowess. She went on to star in Spamalot as the Lady of the Lake, Rent as Joanne, and Jesus Christ Superstar.
New Yorker for so long and in the Broadway community for, you know, a couple of decades. And I think the rite of passage for a New York actor was doing a Law and Order episode. And I've never done Law and Order, but now here I am shooting on the streets of New York as an FBI agent.
But theater audiences weren't the only ones noticing Merle's talent. Television came calling, and in ways she never expected. In 2013, Merle landed a recurring role on FX's gritty biker drama Sons of Anarchy, playing Rita Roosevelt. The role showed a different side of her acting abilities, tough, grounded, and completely believable in the show's violent world.
Everything kind of feeds into each other because the person who cast me was Paris Barclay, who was a executive producer on that show, and he's a two-time DGA president, a black man, gay man, like extraordinary, prolific storyteller.
Yeah.
Then came 2015, and the role that would change everything. Oprah Winfrey was developing a new drama series called Greenleaf for her own network. The show would follow the Greenleaf family, who run a Memphis megachurch, and explore the secrets, scandals, and power struggles beneath the surface of faith and prosperity. For the lead role of Grace Greenleaf, the prodigal daughter returning home, they needed someone who could carry the weight of moral complexity while remaining sympathetic and strong. They found Merle.
I think that was reading the first script. It came right off the page. And I think we all know and experience in this world and in the zeitgeist and in our lives.
Reading that first script, Merle knew this was something special. Here was a show about a black family, set in the church, dealing with real issues like abuse, homosexuality, corruption, and faith in ways that had never been done on television before. And Oprah Winfrey was going to be in it. But here's the second shocking secret. Merle almost didn't take the role. She was terrified. She'd never been the lead in a television series before. The pressure was immense, the responsibility enormous. Could she carry a show on her shoulders for potentially years? Could she do justice to these stories that would impact real families, real churches, real lives?
We have so many things that are actually banding us together and forcing us to like get into our issues because we have to work together.
But something Oprah told her changed everything. Your fear means you care enough to get it right. Merle threw herself into the role with the same intensity she brought to everything else in her life. She studied preachers, spent time in Memphis, and built Grace Greenleaf from the ground up, a woman of faith who'd been hurt by the church, who carried secrets and guilt, but who refused to give up on doing what was right. Greenleaf premiered on June 21st, 2016, and became an instant hit. The show tackled issues that black churches had long kept hidden: sexual abuse, financial corruption, the treatment of LGBTQ+ members, and the price of maintaining appearances. Grace stood at the center of it all, trying to protect her family while exposing the truth.
The AJ business, there was a time to be in the pulpit and do that. And then there's a time to step down and really get involved with making sure her son is okay.
For 5 seasons, Merle embodied Grace with such authenticity that viewers couldn't separate the actress from the character. She received critical acclaim, became the face of a cultural phenomenon, and proved she could carry a series with grace, pun intended, and power. Working alongside legends like Keith David and Lynn Whitfield taught Merle things no acting class ever could. Lynn, who played the formidable Lady Mae Greenleaf, became both a scene partner and a masterclass in presence.
Took that character from a lot of the first ladies that she was looking at, but I know that she and First Lady May Blake are friends, and she used to attend West Angeles.
But Greenleaf was more than just a job. It became a ministry. People would stop Merle on the street with tears in their eyes, telling her how the show had helped them deal with their own trauma, their own family secrets, their own struggles with faith.
The fact that she was in such a place of distress and it has caused all of these things to happen a couple decades down the road, I just feel like it's such a human experience where people can just be like, I was a kid.
One storyline in particular hit close to home for many viewers. Grace's son, AJ, whom she'd given up for adoption, returns as a young man who'd been incarcerated after a wrongful arrest. This story explored the pipeline, from foster care to prison, that traps so many young black men, and Grace's guilt over the choices she'd made as a scared teenager. It was powerful, painful, and necessary television. While Greenleaf was making waves, Merle continued to dominate other arenas. In 2015, she won a BAFTA Award for Best Performer for her voice work in the video game Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. In 2017, she returned to Broadway in the Tony Award-winning revival of Once on This Island, making history as the first woman to play Papa Gay, the god of death. The role required her to be carried down the aisle on a litter by 4 men wearing a sparkly leotard, singing and dancing in sand and water. It was physically demanding, so much so that Merle jokes she's still working out some of her lower back issues. But it was also transcendent. The show received a Grammy nomination for Best Musical Theater Album, and Merle's performance earned rave reviews. She even bonded with the live goats who appeared in the show, spending time with them before each performance to build trust. In 2020, as Greenleaf entered its final season, Merle landed another major television role in HBO Max's thriller The Flight Attendants, starring Kaylee Cuoco. She played an FBI agent, a role that didn't even exist in the original book the series was based on. The producers liked Merle so much during auditions for a different part that they created a character specifically for her. That same year, she joined the cast of ABC's Station 19 as Chief Natasha Ross, becoming a series regular in 2022. The role allowed her to show yet another facet of her range, a commanding, decisive leader in the high-stakes world of Seattle firefighters. But even as her screen career flourished, Merle never abandoned her first love, the stage. In 2025, she took over the role of Persephone in the hit Broadway musical Hadestown, beginning performances on February 18th. Throughout all of this success, Merle has remained grounded in work that matters beyond entertainment. She serves on the board of directors for both the Geffen Playhouse and Harvest Home, an organization that provides housing and holistic support to unhoused pregnant women.
So basically, Harvest Home, harvesthomela.org, we give housing and holistic care to unhoused pregnant women and their babies, and we get them on the right foot.
The work with Harvest Home is deeply personal for Merle. She's mentored women one-on-one, been present for the birth of babies, and witnessed the devastating impact of domestic violence when one of her mentees was killed. Rather than retreat from the pain, Merle doubled down on her commitment, helping to expand Harvest Home's capacity when the Archdiocese of Los Angeles gifted them an entire convent.
I had one mentee who was just so inspirational to me. And I was there the day her baby was born. I got to see her celebrate his first birthday. Aww. And unfortunately, last year, we lost her to domestic violence.
Merle's personal life has seen its share of challenges too. She married Christopher Johnston on May 21, 2011, but the couple divorced in 2019. Rather than letting the end of her marriage define her, Merle used it as an opportunity for growth and self-discovery.
But I've been single for a while.
Okay.
Today, Merle Dandridge stands as one of the most versatile performers in entertainment. She's conquered Broadway, television, film, and video games. As of 2025, Merle Dandridge's estimated net worth is approximately $4 million, a testament to her decades of consistent work across multiple platforms and her smart career choices. But beyond the accolades and the financial success, Merle's greatest achievement might be the path she's forged for others. As a woman of mixed heritage in an industry that often demands people fit into neat boxes. She's proven that authenticity is the ultimate superpower. From those early days in Nebraska, where she felt too different to belong anywhere, to standing on stages and screens around the world, Merle has become exactly who she was meant to be, fully herself, unapologetically whole, and absolutely unstoppable.